Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Your Mark on the World show. We're excited to have with us today Luke Peterson, the director of the Office of New Urban Mechanics at Utah Valley University. Luke, thank you very much for joining us.
Devin, thanks for having me.
Okay, everyone who just heard that has the same question, and it is, what is the Office of New Urban Mechanics?
Some days I had that same question, so it's a good one. It comes from, well, let me back up. Let me start from the beginning. So the first Office of New Urban Mechanics was established by the city of Boston, and Mayor Menino, the former mayor of Boston, his nickname was the Urban Mechanic, and as a result, he gave a speech, which I really feel like I should have laminated and keep in my pockets because I explain this to everybody wherever I go. But he gave a speech about how we all need to become urban mechanics and be engaged in the reinvention of our communities and continuously improving our communities. And so that's where it comes from. It's basically a civic innovation and government innovation office. There are three now. The first in Boston, then Philadelphia under Mayor Nutter adopted the second office, and then on July 1, Utah Valley University became the third office in the network, and we obviously are a little bit different because we're housed in a university rather than in a city, but we serve a very similar function. We serve multiple cities over a large service region, smaller cities, rather than one big city, but a lot of the same function that the other two offices hold.
Give us some examples of the activities, functions, goals of the Office of New Urban Mechanics.
Okay. It works on two fronts. So we're trying to put ourselves out there in the community and create value for the communities that we serve. We have about 500,000 people in our service region. We'll also work with cities outside of our service region if they come to us, but we're actively pursuing projects within the area that we serve. And we're trying to just find ways to make government work better, faster, and cheaper, find new solutions to public problems, whether they're coming from the for-profit sector or nonprofit or from government. It doesn't really matter. We're just there to sort of be in the middle, shake things up a little bit, make new connections, and solve problems in a different way. And as a university, the big value that we get out of it, the central focus of our university, of our mission, is engaged learning. So we want our students doing experiential learning. We want them outside of the four walls of the classroom and out there actually doing things, and this is a perfect mechanism for this. My students get just exceptional opportunities to do things that you don't get anywhere else. They do research, they do every aspect. We just finished an event, everything from working with permits to publicity to figuring out all the mechanics and logistics of an event or any project. They have to work through all those pieces. So they learn a tremendous amount which we couldn't get out of the textbook alone.
What are some examples of those student projects that they're actually on the ground doing?
Yeah. So the one we just finished this last weekend was called Play Street Provo. So we partnered with the city of Provo, Utah, and we worked with Provo, and we started out by just approaching the downtown Provo organization and saying, is there anything we can do to help? Which is basically how we start everything out of our office. And their response was yes. I mean, it was just sort of a vague mandate. Go out, help us find ways to attract more people to downtown Provo. And we took that mandate and we ran with it. And so basically, my students went out, they did what's called an empathy study. They talked to people on the street. They were trying to get inside their heads and learn some insights about what makes them tick and what they were looking for and not getting out of their downtown Provo experience. And there were several really interesting insights that came out of that. But one of those was that for a variety of reasons, people didn't feel like downtown Provo was a place they wanted to take their whole family. Well, Utah County, where Provo is the heart of, is sort of family USA. We've got lots of large families, lots of kids, and so if your primary demographic doesn't feel like they can comfortably come to you, you've got a problem, right? So as a result, we looked at our some different options and wound up organizing a play street. We closed down one of the main roads in downtown Provo to traffic, opened it up to people to just come and play, and we had all kinds of events. We brought people down, let them experience it, feel comfortable being in downtown again, and we did some more research. So we kept asking questions, and it'll be an ongoing process where we keep learning and refining and testing different concepts to see how, not just for a day, but on an ongoing basis, we can make people feel comfortable coming to that downtown.
Well, it highlights the potential for students to learn really powerful principles through an activity where they're actually driving a community good, having a real impact, and certainly helping the city. I mean, the city must have been thrilled with that experience.
Yeah, and they were great partners. It was a good experience for everybody involved. And yeah, it is this sort of an excellent way for students just to learn how their skills can be applied. I mean, whether or not these students go and become social entrepreneurs or work in the public sector at all, my goal is at the very least we're building excellent citizen scholars, right? These are people who, regardless of what they do with the rest of their professional life, they understand communities, they understand how to get positive change to occur in communities, and if they take nothing away other than that, I'm pretty happy.
So tell me a little bit about your nonprofit work. You have really developed a reputation for leading innovation in the nonprofit community around Utah Valley University. It's really made a difference in the short time that you've been at the university. How does that connect to the new urban mechanics program?
Yeah, so it ties directly. You know, one of my goals is to erase or blur the lines between government, nonprofit, and for-profit as much as possible. Get people to stop thinking within a particular box. I am a nonprofit, therefore I do X or I don't do Y or whatever the case may be, and really just start to learn all that we can across different sectors. And so that's a big focus of New Urban Mechanics. If we can find ways to get the nonprofit community, existing nonprofits to be engaged in high-impact social change, then we can solve a lot of problems. Government, honestly, is not always the best mechanism for solving certain public issues, right? So in some cases, it's the nonprofit sector, and in some cases, it's the for-profit sector, in some cases, it's education. So, you know, just getting past those boundaries and those borders, that's our main focus. And so continuing to work with the nonprofit community, build their capacity for innovative approaches is key to New Urban Mechanics.
What about the social entrepreneurship? How are you engaging in social entrepreneurship per se at UVU?
Okay, you know, to a certain extent, our office is a social enterprise.
Sure.
Yeah. In a very real sense, my students will go, I've actually got most of them out right now doing a research project, and we will do contractual work for cities, which hopefully is at least obliquely related to innovation, but not always. And that brings in a certain amount of funding, which we then reinvest into these innovation projects. So the office itself operates like a social enterprise. But a lot of what we'll be doing is designed to promote social enterprise both within our student community and the community more broadly. So our next big project is called the Fast Forward competition, and I'll have more details coming on that in the future, but it's similar to the Philadelphia New Urban Mechanics office started the first one, and it was focused on public safety, and the idea is just to take a big problem and not go through and write a 800-page RFP for it, which is what government would normally do, but instead come up with just a very quick solicitation and invite people from all sectors to submit solutions and then we run good ideas through our business accelerator here at UVU. And of course, there's some prize money involved to incentivize people to jump in and pitch their ideas. But that will be big, and we're working on it right now. That's our next big thing. Yeah, and that's probably where I'll leave it for now on that one.
Well, great. I'm excited to have you come speak at the Social Enterprise and Crowdfunding Conference on September 26th at Snowbird here in Utah. It's going to be a fun event, and of course, having you speak will be a highlight. I think you've got some idea of what you want to share at the conference already. What are you planning to share?
Well, at that point, we will be just getting into the thick of this fast forward competition. So I will really focus on that and the importance of it, what we're hoping to get out of it, how anybody who's interested in pursuing the prize money and support associated with it can do that successfully. We'll also be going through ways in which nonprofits, for-profits, and government entities can partner with us and take advantage of these really bright students who want to do work. And then also going through some of the models and the methodology a little bit. I know I don't have a huge amount of time, but we'll be going through as quickly as we can some of the methodology and approaches that we take, so that I'm at least teaching a little bit of how we go about producing innovation.
I think that's going to be great. I think the conference is going to be a lot of fun, and you'll make a great addition to the roster of speakers, and I think people will come away very happy with what they learn at the event.
Yeah,
you were there last year. What did you think of it?
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great last year. It was the first year, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing event, and just had a really great opportunity. Met some fascinating people, and actually have had some great projects and opportunities come out of that for our office, honestly, as a result of that last conference. So it was terrific.
Terrific. Well, we're excited to have you back this year. I think it's going to be a great program. We're excited about what you're doing with the new urban mechanics office there, and wish you every success. How can people engage with you? I know that there are some people who listen to this that'll say, I want to connect with this Luke guy and figure out how we can do that in our community.
Yeah, you know, we're right in the middle of reinventing our collective website for New Urban Mechanics, so I would give you a URL, but it will have one of those little construction hats or something going on. You know, I don't want to send people there. So honestly, I don't mind people calling me, and my number is 801-863-8899, and that's the best way to reach me. Or my email is Luke, Luke.Peterson, Peterson, @uvu.edu, and yeah, please reach out to me for whatever.
Great. Luke, thank you very much for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Devin.
All righty, let's do some good.